You meet someone new. They smile, extend their hand, and say their name clearly. You nod, repeat it in your head once, and then suddenly, it's gone. Completely gone. You're still looking at them, still talking to them, but their name has already disappeared from your mind like it was never there in the first place. Now you're stuck. You can't ask again because it feels awkward. You can't use their name because you don't remember it. So you just continue the conversation, pretending everything is normal, while your brain is quietly panicking in the background. If this has ever happened to you, you're not alone. In fact, this is one of the most common psychological experiences people have in social situations. But what's interesting is that most people completely misunderstand why it happens. They assume it's because they have a weak memory, or they're just bad with names. But that explanation is way too simple. And honestly, it's wrong. Because forgetting names is not really about memory at all. It's about something much deeper, something happening in your brain in real time that you're not even aware of. The real reason: your brain is busy protecting you. When you meet someone for the first time, your brain doesn't treat it like a simple moment. It treats it like a social evaluation situation. Without you realizing it, your mind immediately starts scanning for signals. It asks questions like, how am I being perceived right now? Do I sound confident? Do I look nervous? What should I say next? All of this happens in a split second. And because your brain has limited attention, it has to choose what matters most. And surprisingly, remembering the person's name is not a priority. Instead, your brain focuses on protecting your social image. So while the other person is saying their name, your attention is already somewhere else. You're thinking about your response, your posture, your tone. And because attention is the first step of memory, anything that doesn't receive attention simply doesn't get stored. That's why it feels like you forgot the name, when in reality, your brain never properly captured it in the first place. Why names are so hard to remember? Now here's something that makes this even more interesting. Names are actually one of the most difficult types of information for the brain to remember. And the reason is surprisingly simple. Names don't mean anything. If someone says the word teacher, your brain instantly creates an image. You might picture a classroom, a blackboard, maybe even a specific teacher from your past. There's meaning, context, and emotion attached to that word. But when someone says their name, like Brian or Salish, your brain doesn't automatically attach meaning to it. It's just a sound. There's no image, no story, no emotional connection. And your brain is designed to remember meaningful information. It naturally prioritizes things that help you understand the world, not random labels that don't seem useful. So when you hear a name, your brain basically says, this doesn't connect to anything important, and it lets it go. Attention versus memory, the hidden truth. Most people believe they have a memory problem, but in reality, what they have is an attention problem. Memory doesn't start when you try to remember something later. It starts in the exact moment you first experience it. If your attention isn't fully present at that moment, the memory doesn't form properly. Think of it like trying to take a photo with a shaky camera. If the camera isn't stable, the picture comes out blurry or doesn't capture properly at all. Your attention works the same way. If your mind is distracted, divided, or overwhelmed, the mental photo of that moment never becomes clear. So when someone introduces themselves and your mind is busy thinking about something else, your brain doesn't create a strong memory of their name. And later, when you try to recall it, there's nothing solid to retrieve. The social anxiety connection. Now, let's go deeper because this is where things start to connect on a psychological level. People who forget names easily are often more socially aware. They're more conscious of how they're being perceived. They care about making a good impression. And because of that, their brain becomes more active during social interactions. But this increased awareness comes with a cost. When you're too focused on yourself, your behavior, your words, your image, you lose focus on the external details of the interaction. You stop fully listening. You stop absorbing information naturally. And names are usually the first thing to get lost. So, ironically, people who forget names are not less intelligent or less attentive overall. In many cases, they're actually overthinking the situation. How your brain chooses what to remember. Your brain is constantly filtering information. Every second it decides what to keep and what to ignore. And it makes this decision based on a few key factors: emotion, repetition, and meaning. If something is emotional, your brain holds on to it. If something is repeated, your brain strengthens it. If something has meaning, your brain connects it to existing knowledge. Names usually have none of these. They're said once, without emotional weight, and without any meaningful connection. So, from your brain's perspective, they're low priority. That's why you can remember a funny joke someone told or a strange thing they did, but not their name. The simple shift that changes everything. The good news is that this entire problem can be fixed with a very small shift in behavior. You don't need to improve your memory, you don't need special techniques, you just need to change how you pay attention in one specific moment. When someone tells you their name, pause mentally. Don't rush to respond. Don't immediately think about what to say next. Just give your full attention to that one piece of information. Even 2 seconds of focused attention is enough to create a strong memory. And once you do that, everything changes. Turning names into something your brain understands. If you want to go one step further, you can make names easier for your brain to remember by turning them into something meaningful. This doesn't have to be complicated. It can be as simple as connecting the name to someone you already know or creating a quick mental image. For example, if someone's name reminds you of a character, a friend, or even a random object, use that connection. The moment your brain finds meaning, it becomes much easier to store and recall. This works because you're no longer trying to remember a random sound, you're remembering a connected idea. The confidence effect. There's another powerful benefit to remembering names that most people don't talk about. It changes how people see you. When you remember someone's name and use it naturally in conversation, it signals attention, respect, and confidence. It makes the other person feel recognized and valued. And at the same time, it changes how you feel about yourself. You become more present, more engaged, and more in control of the interaction. So this isn't just about memory, it's about improving your overall social presence. At the end of the day, forgetting names is not a flaw. It's a result of how your brain is wired to prioritize information. Once you understand that, you stop blaming yourself for something that was never really your fault. And more importantly, you realize that you can fix it anytime you want, just by shifting your attention for a few seconds. Because the moment you control your attention, you control what your brain remembers. If you've ever experienced this, I want you to be honest in the comments. Are you someone who forgets names instantly or someone who remembers almost everyone? And if this video helped you understand something new about your own mind, make sure to like and subscribe, because most people go their entire life without learning how their brain actually works. And once you start understanding it, you start using it differently. And that changes everything.